Hey guys, this episode is unreal. We interview Neil Patel, who hardly needs an intro, but is one of the most successful SEO and marketing people on the internet. So tune in, I can't wait to share this episode with you.
I didn't try to craft a personal brand. It was pure accident. Blogging started because I couldn't afford to do paid ads to recruit customers. Speaking at conferences was because I was looking to generate customers. Creating videos and audio was all to generate more customers. If I had to go back in time, I wouldn't brand myself. I would have branded my company. But it was too late, and my personal brand came before my corporate brand. But that's what I would have done if I had to do it all over again. And the one thing I ended up learning throughout the whole process is if you just keep giving and you don't ask for anything, eventually you'll build your brand because you're helping people and you're putting them first. But you got to genuinely really give, really put people first and not ask for anything. And that's a big mistake because most people will give for a little bit and then it's like, wait, where's the money? Where's the revenue? Or they'll give and they'll be like, yeah, what am I getting in exchange? And they're just not patient, and you just got to keep doing it because you love it. You genuinely want to help people. And that's how a personal brand is built. Never happens overnight. Anything that happens overnight typically can fall just as quickly as it popped up. It takes a long time, takes many years, and then, the rest is history. If I had to guess with YouTube, maybe like 50, 60, somewhere in that range. I know things were really humming after we started creating like 150 to 200 videos, but the first 50 were brutal. It didn't matter how good the content was or how terrible it was. I just couldn't get traction. It took a long time to figure out how to make YouTube work. It was actually nothing. There wasn't one thing that really helped propel things or make it take off. It was just a lot of little things that added up. For example, creating content consistently. For example, getting into video and just spending years doing videos before I started getting any traction. The biggest thing for me was consistency and just being persistent and not giving up. The big mistake I made on the agency side early on is not focusing enough on account management. It doesn't matter how good results you provide. If you have terrible account management, customers will churn and they'll feel that the experience is not as great. And I learned at that point, client communication is really important. It's not just about the results. The marketing, side of me was like, who cares? Just drive people results. That's all that matters. And then I quickly learned that, no, that really isn't it. People value relationships. They value communication, and what's funny is if you don't produce as good results, but you have amazing communication, you'll actually retain customers for longer. And we learned that by talking to a few other companies or agencies more so, and looking at their numbers, because some of the founders were gladly willing to share, their LTV of a customer and stuff and their average results per client. We're like, what the heck? So, but that doesn't mean you should produce less results. It just means that you should do as best as you can with providing results, but also have amazing communication. So that was a big lesson. The second big lesson that I learned was reporting is extremely important. And if you can't tie things back to a dollar or ROI, it doesn't matter. Eventually, people will just go away. And even if you're giving them an ROI, if the reporting doesn't clearly show it, you're still going to end up losing customers. Yeah, the big mistake that we're seeing people make is they write based on what they want versus what their customer wants. And you'll be shocked at how many times that happens because people do brainstorms internally and they're like, oh, we should write about this, or we should create this social content, or this would be really cool. And you should have those brainstorms, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what they're doing is they're taking the opinions of their staff and the people that work at the company, which is fine, but they neglect to take the opinions of their ideal customers or existing customers to figure out what do they really care about, what would appeal to them. And I think that's a very important part of marketing that a lot of digital marketers take for granted, that funny enough, a lot of offline marketers have in there. Like, they're looking at personas, they're looking at, hey, who's our ideal customer, what do they want, how can we appeal to them? But we see more offline marketers looking at things like personas than we do in the digital world. Sure. So I'm going to actually give an interesting stat for you first before we end up breaking that down, because I published a blog post late last night or this morning, and the blog post was actually on keywords. So I did an analysis on blog posts that drive over 1,000 visitors or more from SEO traffic. And the data I found is they target 76 keywords on average. And what was interesting when I did that research is blog posts that rank for 1,000 keywords or get 1,000 visits or more, even though they're targeting 76, they tend to rank for around 38 keywords on average. Posts with 5,000 visits or more per month from Google SEO traffic organic tend to be ranking for 51 or more keywords. The point I'm trying to make about this is keyword research is really important, whether you like it or not, whether it's for a hashtag or whether it's trying to be found on YouTube or social sites. You got to end up doing keyword research. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't listen to people, but what we're seeing in content is two different things. One is the content that people are searching for are more beginner-based type of content. How to install a toilet, how to tie a tie, how to get Google to index my website. The content that's being shared on the social web is more advanced, right? Users don't care to share this basic content, nor do they care to link to it. So you got to write the advanced content for users so they'll share it, link to it, increase your overall authority. But you also got to have to create content for people who are searching. And when we look at content creation, we spend 40% of our time creating content that people will end up searching for, EX, how to tie a tie, and then 10% of the time of advanced content like blog posts that generate 1,000 visits or more per month target 76 keywords. A lot of data, a lot of stats, makes us look like an expert. We'll get more social shares, more backlinks, but that post really isn't targeting a specific keyword. But that's roughly our split. 40% of the time writing basic content, 10% writing advanced content. In the basic content, that means a lot of keyword research. The advanced content, not as much. That's more talking to people. And I know I flip the pie of 100%. So people may be wondering what the remaining 50% is. 20% goes to rewriting old content. You'll find that old content that isn't continually updated doesn't do as well. Social sites, Google, they all have their prime picking, so you need to keep updating your content. And then the last one is the remaining 30% is actually marketing the content that people tend to forget about when it comes to content creation.
Okay, so what do you mean by marketing content?
If you tweeted out an article from my buddy Eric, I'll hit you up being like, "Hey, Jack, I know you end up sharing this content by Eric on this topic. I have a similar one that just came out. Feel free and tweet it if you like it. P.S. If I can ever, or cheers, Neil. P.S. If I can ever share anything for you, let me know." Or I see who links to maybe Eric's site or Maz's site or anyone else, and I'll hit them up and try to get them to link to me. But those are all examples of promotion. Or if I link out to your website, maybe I just email you saying, "Hey, I linked out to you. Feel free and check out my post if you like it. Share it. Tell people about it." Yeah, so we've looked at everything from schema markup, because you have to remember, for voice data, they're pulling from text-based websites. They're not just actually coming up with its own. It's like, think of you asking Siri a question or Amazon Alexa a question, and Alexa or Google Home going and pulling from a search engine, right? That's text-based, and repeating the answer. So they're using a lot of things like machine learning to figure out what you really meant, to what result you're looking for. And a lot of that is similar to how you're searching on Google. Their patterns are actually very similar. So what we found is your metadata is really important. Answering questions in short sentences, concise, is very important versus having paragraphs. Similar to text. No one wants to go to blog posts, and if you Google what is 2 plus 2, Google answers it. But generally, if you went to a blog post, you wouldn't want to read a paragraph that just tells you the answers for. You would just want to know the answers for. That's what I mean by user experience and getting to the point without the fluff. So things like that. I mentioned metadata, schema markup. We've noticed that if your site loads faster, they're more likely to pull from you when it comes to voice search as well. But they're all going to have their own algorithms. Funny enough, they're buying a lot of data from the SEO tools and the search providers out there.
Interesting.
We've been hit up by a lot of them, like Alexa and all those kind of things, being like, "Hey, can you tell us trending data?" and all this kind of stuff.
Wow. I'm surprised they don't have enough data just by listening into people's Alexa devices.
It's not enough data. It's what are the answers? What do they need to prepare for? So they want trending
Okay.
data, and they want to spot the trends before they happen so they can adjust on there. One, producing high quality content. What I mean high quality, figure out how to integrate audio, video, carousels, text-based content, just super high quality, because there's over 1 billion blogs. There's so many billions of social profiles. You'll drown in content. You're not going to stand out by just creating content. It used to be that case years ago, but now it's more so if it's not quality, you're not going to do well. The second thing that they need to focus on is updating old content. Content creators just are in this mindset of keep creating. We spend 20% of our time updating old content, and not just for blog posts. If we saw that something did really well in a video on YouTube, like digital marketing trends of 2020, we'll do a digital marketing trends of 2021 when the year's over. That's an example of recreating and republishing or re-updating. And that continually drives traffic and awareness. And then the third thing that you need to do as a creator is, if you want consistency, you need to build up your own list, your own push notification list, your own email list, your own SMS list, your own messenger bot list, even though eventually you have to pay to blast out. But you need to build up your own list so you can control your own destiny as well. And that way you can spread the awareness of your content.